Hey everyone, today we're talking about becoming satisfied, group benefit maximization. My name is Isaiah Goodman, the Chief Financial Advocate at Becoming Financial. It's right around June. I know that means a lot of graduates are starting their first job, and here's kind of how it goes. They show up for orientation, they get you to sign a bunch of paperwork and check a bunch of boxes. You have no clue what any of it meant, and now that's decided your group benefits for the next 10, 15, 20 years. Today I wanted to talk a little bit about what the heck are some of these things, what are some questions that you should ask HR, and then preparing for your future. So today is only part one. There's so much to cover, we figured we'd only do part one today. Down the road we're going to cover part two. So just think of this experience. If you've been there before, you know it. If not, I just want you to be ready for it. Things like group benefits, you show up and they have paragraphs and paragraphs of things for you to think about. And you have to be able to read it all and check off the boxes and sign in like minutes. But what I wanted you to be aware of is there's a lot of implications in terms of the long term of what can happen. So for example, if something happens to you, get disabled, but you didn't see in subparagraph 5 that they paid for the benefits, and so that means that they're taxable to you. Or if your spouse died and you forgot to add them on as a free life insurance policy, now your spouse had no life insurance. Things like that. We want to make sure we cover that. Number one, disability insurance. Who is paying for that? If you pay for it, that means the benefits were going to be tax-free if and when you get disabled. If your employer pays for it, that means the benefits are going to be taxable. So you might want to explore an outside plan that can cover that gap and then can go with you when you leave. Another big thing to think about when it comes to disability is what percent of your income is actually covered. If it's 20%, 50%, most plans are covering 60%. A catch here though is it's 60% of your salary. If you're in a job that has bonuses or commissions, a lot of times the disability coverages won't cover that. Or in most cases, there's going to be a maximum. It might say 60% of your salary up to 5%. So if that's the case, you're going to want to be able to say, okay, I make this much. Is my entire income covered, or what would be comfortable for me to cover? Next big thing, life insurance. Again, who pays for it? Almost always it's going to be the employer, but sometimes they'll give you the option to opt into buying more. Sometimes that can be 2, 5, up to 7 times your income or salary in life insurance. Now, another big thing is, can your employer cover your spouse or your children? Some employer plans do. They'll allow you to give 1 times your salary or up to about $50,000 to a loved one. It doesn't extend to everybody. You can't get all your aunts and uncles and grandparents on the plan. Usually it's just your household immediate family members, but it's relevant to know. I've heard of people who didn't know they could do that. They could have had coverage on their spouse when they passed away. So something to really think about. And then a big thing too is if and when you leave your job, can that coverage go with you? Most cases it can't, but one scenario is if somebody gets sick or ill, maybe even terminally ill, don't quit the job. Make sure you go on long-term disability, because then that life insurance can go with you or with that person if and when they pass away.